What if I tell you that every relationship you've ever had, every moment of romance, and even every heartbreak started in your mind long before it unfolded in your life? You might think love is something that happens to you, an unpredictable force that arrives without warning, but Neville Goddard taught that it begins with the images and feelings you consistently dwell on. Picture this. Your imagination is not just daydreaming, it's the creative workshop of your reality. If you've been replaying scenes of rejection, disappointment, or loneliness, those images have been quietly shaping your experiences. Your mind is a movie projector, and the outer world is simply the screen reflecting your private film. The challenge is that most people aren't aware of the reel they're running, so they think life is random when it's actually a mirror. Right now you might be carrying old, invisible beliefs about love. Beliefs that whisper, "I'm not lovable," or "love always ends badly." These thoughts are like invisible walls, keeping you from stepping into the relationship you truly desire. Neville would say you are always living in a state, and the state you inhabit determines the people and experiences you draw toward you. If your state is one of doubt or lack, then even when love appears, it feels unstable. The first step to attracting your soulmate is becoming conscious of the state you're living in. This is not about forcing positivity, but about gently becoming aware of what you're imagining when no one is watching. The secret is to recognize that the love you want already exists within you as a possibility, waiting for you to claim it. In other words, you must first fall in love in your mind, with yourself, and with the feeling of being loved. This inner shift is not small. It's the seed from which your outer love story will grow. Imagine for a moment waking up tomorrow, feeling completely secure, adored, and wanted. How would you move, speak, and carry yourself? That's the version of you your soulmate is already looking for. The work begins here, in thought and feeling, because once you inhabit that state, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. And so before we speak about removing old beliefs, we must first understand exactly where they come from. Before you can change anything about your love life, you must first see the state you are actually living in. A state, as Neville Goddard described, is not just a mood, it's the sum of your dominant thoughts, feelings, and assumptions about life. Most people drift into a state without realizing it, carrying the residue of old relationships, heartbreaks, or disappointments like invisible luggage. If you've ever thought, "I always meet the wrong people," or "love never lasts for me," then you've already identified the state you're inhabiting. It's like wearing tinted glasses. You can't see the world any other way until you change the lens. The tricky part is that your outer reality seems to confirm your inner assumptions, making the cycle feel unbreakable. You think you're responding to what's real, but in truth, you're only seeing the reflection of what you've been assuming all along. Neville often said, "Your world is yourself pushed out," meaning every encounter, every romance, and even every rejection is showing you your inner self. So take a quiet moment to notice the stories you tell about love. Are you the person who is always chosen, or the one who is overlooked? Are you expecting joy or bracing for loss? This isn't about blaming yourself. It's about becoming conscious, because what you're conscious of, you can change. If you can name your current state, you've already begun to loosen its grip. From there, you can decide whether it's a state you want to remain in or leave behind. Once you see that your state is a choice, even if it feels habitual, you realize you're not trapped. The beauty of Neville's teaching is that any state can be left behind instantly, simply by assuming a new one. But before we choose a new state, we need to understand the powerful law that governs how love appears or disappears in our lives. That is the law of assumption, and it changes everything. Neville Goddard's law of assumption is deceptively simple. What you assume to be true, whether good or bad, will harden into fact. In love, this means your deepest, most persistent assumptions about relationships are quietly scripting your romantic future. If you assume that love is rare, that people always leave, or that you are difficult to love, then your outer life will mirror those assumptions with precision. It's not magic. It's the natural outworking of imagination impressed upon the subconscious. The subconscious mind accepts your assumptions without question, and it works tirelessly to bring them into your experience. This is why so many people seem to repeat the same type of relationship, even with different partners. The assumption never changed. The law of assumption doesn't respond to what you want in a vague sense. It responds to what you accept as true. You could say you want a soulmate all day long, but if your inner feeling says, "I'll probably end up alone," that feeling will win. To change your love life, you must replace the old assumptions with ones that align with the love you desire. Neville's method is to imagine the end result, your wish fulfilled, and dwell in that state as if it were already a fact. That means feeling in the present moment what it's like to be adored, chosen, and secure in a loving relationship. By assuming this new reality, you give your subconscious new instructions to follow. The change begins inwardly, but the outer results follow naturally through what Neville called the bridge of incidents. These are the perfectly timed events, meetings, and circumstances that unfold to bring you and your soulmate together. But this can only happen if you release your grip on the old state and allow the new one to dominate. The challenge is that most people try to carry both, the old fears and the new dream, and then wonder why nothing changes. This is why the next step is essential. You must fully replace the old state with the new one, leaving no room for doubt. The moment you decide to leave an old state, you are, in a sense, letting a version of yourself die. Neville Goddard often said, "You cannot serve two masters. You can't keep the assumptions of, 'I am unloved,' while also claiming, 'I am adored.'" To step into a new state, you must abandon the inner conversations, mental images, and feelings that belong to the old one. This isn't about pretending the past never happened. It's about refusing to keep feeding it with your attention. Think of it like moving to a new city. Once you arrive, you stop checking the weather in the old place. You stop walking the same streets in your mind. Every thought that drags you back to old heartbreaks or failed relationships is like taking a weekend trip back to that old city. The new state must become your home address in consciousness. Ask yourself, if I were already in the perfect relationship, how would I think, speak, and carry myself? Then start living from that place now. It will feel strange at first. Your senses will argue with you, pointing to the empty bed, the unanswered messages, the lonely weekends. But this is where persistence comes in, because the outer world always lags behind your inner shift. If you keep inhabiting the new state, the bridge of incidents will start to form, leading you step by step toward your soulmate. This is why Neville warned against looking for evidence too soon. Checking for signs too early is like digging up a seed to see if it's sprouted. Instead, let the new state take root in your imagination until it feels more real than the old one ever did. As you persist, you'll notice that old thoughts lose their emotional pull. People from your past may even resurface, mirroring your new energy. But whether or not that happens, you'll know you've succeeded when your inner world feels different. Lighter, more certain, more loving. And one of the most powerful tools for cementing this new state is to change your inner conversations entirely. Neville Goddard often said that your inner conversations are far more important than anything you say out loud. These quiet, constant dialogues you have with yourself are shaping your life in ways you may not realize. If you've been replaying arguments, doubting your worth, or expecting rejection in your head, you've been rehearsing for a reality you don't actually want. In relationships, these inner scripts can be the difference between attracting deep love and pushing it away without meaning to. Imagine you meet someone wonderful, but in your mind, you're saying, "This won't last," or "They'll get bored of me." Without knowing it, you're aligning yourself with loss, not love. Neville taught that to change your outer world, you must change these silent conversations first. Instead of imagining rejection, picture your partner telling you how much they adore you, how safe they feel with you, how you make them light up. Speak to yourself in your mind as someone who is already loved, chosen, and valued. The more you persist in these new inner dialogues, the more natural they feel, and your subconscious will take them as fact. Over time, your reactions in the outer world shift automatically, because you're no longer feeding fear. The key is to practice this daily, especially in moments when your mind wants to run back to the old story. When you catch yourself slipping into old patterns, don't fight it. Just replace it with a scene that matches your desire. If you can hear your soulmate's voice in your mind as clearly as your own, you're planting the seeds of your future relationship. And remember, in Neville's view, imagination is reality. Your inner conversation is not just a thought, it's the creation of an event. Once you master this, you'll see how quickly your world begins to mirror your inner shift. And the next step will deepen that mastery, learning to see your partner in imagination first, before they appear in the physical world. Neville Goddard taught that imagination is not just fantasy, it's the creative power that shapes your life. When it comes to love, this means your soulmate must first be seen and felt in the inner world before they can appear in the outer one. Most people do the opposite. They wait to meet someone before they allow themselves to feel loved and secure. But Neville would say that is like waiting to plant a seed until after the harvest. It defies the law of creation. The secret is to begin experiencing your ideal relationship in vivid, sensory-rich detail within your mind. Imagine their smile, the sound of their voice, the way their presence makes you feel safe and cherished. Let these images play out as if they are happening now, if not someday in the future. Feel the warmth of their hand in yours, hear the laughter you share over dinner, sense the deep comfort of knowing you are chosen. This inner scene should be short and simple, something you can return to again and again without strain. Neville called this living in the end, seeing the final result of your desire as if it's already true. When you do this consistently, your subconscious begins to accept it as reality, and life starts arranging itself to match that vision. The outer world doesn't create your love story. Your inner vision does. The more real it feels to you inwardly, the sooner the bridge of incidents will form to bring it into being. Of course, your mind may try to interrupt with doubts or old fears. That's why the next skill is essential. Learning how to turn doubt into certainty so that your vision can take root without being washed away. Doubt is the quiet thief of every beautiful vision you've ever imagined. It creeps in slowly, disguised as being realistic. And before you know it, the vivid love story you were building in your mind feels like a distant dream. Neville Goddard taught that the key to overcoming doubt is not to fight it, but to dissolve it by replacing its emotional charge with the feeling of certainty. This is what I call emotional alchemy, transforming the heavy lead of fear into the gold of unshakable belief. When doubt whispers, "What if it never happens?" you answer with the steady assurance of, "It already has." You do this not through empty words, but by re-entering the scene of your wish fulfilled and letting it wash over you with genuine feeling. See your partner smiling at you, hear them say something loving, and let your body respond as if it is happening now. The mind cannot hold two opposing feelings with equal strength. If the feeling of love and security grows stronger, the doubt naturally fades. Think of it like tuning a radio. When you focus on the right frequency, the static disappears. Over time, these moments of certainty start to outweigh the moments of fear, and your dominant state shifts. Neville often reminded his students that feeling is the secret because the subconscious accepts what you feel as fact. Certainty isn't about forcing yourself to believe. It's about soaking so deeply in the feeling of the end result that it becomes more real than your current circumstances. And once you can do that, you're ready for one of Neville's most powerful techniques, rewriting your past through the act of revision so that old heartbreaks lose their grip entirely. One of the greatest hurdles in attracting love is the emotional baggage we carry from past relationships, and Neville Goddard gave us a powerful tool to clear this, called revision. Revision means going back mentally and rewriting painful memories, not to deny what happened, but to change how they influence your present state. Imagine a past heartbreak or disappointment as a movie playing on repeat in your mind, casting shadows over your current love life. By revisiting that scene in your imagination, you can rewrite it so that it ends differently, where you feel safe, loved, or respected, instead of hurt or rejected. Neville taught that when you revise your past with these new feelings, you shift your subconscious records, which then change the blueprint of your present and future experiences. This isn't about suppressing pain or pretending everything was perfect. It's about forgiving, not just others but also yourself, and releasing the emotional charge that keeps those memories alive. When you let go of resentment, guilt, or regret, you open space for new love to enter without resistance. Practicing revision daily can be as simple as recalling a difficult moment and imagining a better outcome, feeling the relief and joy as if it happened that way. Over time, these revised memories soften the old mental blocks and allow your mind to stay open to love. It's like clearing the fog on a window so the light can shine through again. This process is healing on multiple levels and creates fertile ground for your soulmate to appear. The next step is learning to persist in this new reality, even when your senses seem to say otherwise. Once you have revised your past and begun living in the state of your wish fulfilled, the true test begins: persistence. Neville Goddard emphasized that the world around you will often seem unchanged at first, tempting you to give up and return to old habits of doubt and fear. But persistence means holding fast to your new inner reality, no matter what your senses say. You must continue to feel, think, and imagine as if your soulmate is already with you, even if there is no visible evidence yet. This is the silent power that makes the law of assumption work. The outer world is slow to catch up because it is responding to deep-rooted beliefs and old conditioning. Yet, the moment you remain unwavering in your inner state, the bridge of incidents begins to form. Those meaningful encounters and opportunities that slowly lead you to your soulmate. It can feel like walking through a fog, where the destination is clear in your mind, but the path remains hidden. Many give up too soon because they expect instant results, but Neville taught that time is irrelevant to the subconscious mind. What matters is your unshakable faith in the new reality. When you persist, the seed planted in your imagination grows roots beneath the surface, unseen but growing stronger every day. Your feelings of love, security, and joy become the foundation for your new life. This persistence is not a struggle. It is a quiet, joyful knowing that your desire is already fulfilled. You begin to notice subtle signs and synchronicities, but you don't chase them. You simply remain in your state, and when doubts arise, you gently return to your imagined scene of love. This unbreakable faith invites your soulmate closer, naturally and effortlessly. The next part will explore how the feeling itself is the secret to making this all come alive. Neville Goddard said over and over again, feeling is the secret. And when it comes to attracting your soulmate, this is the heart of the matter. It's not just what you think or say, but how deeply you feel your imagined reality that moves the unseen forces into action. When you immerse yourself in the feeling of being loved and secure, your subconscious accepts this as your truth, no matter what the outside world looks like. This feeling is like a magnetic energy, pulling your soulmate toward the vibration you emit. It is more powerful than logic or wishful thinking because emotions are the language of the subconscious mind. To cultivate this feeling, you must learn to live from the end, the place where your desire is already fulfilled. Imagine the tenderness in your partner's eyes, the comfort of their embrace, and the joy of shared laughter. Feel these emotions as if they are happening now, not sometime in the future. The sensation of love, warmth, and safety should saturate your body and mind. This feeling floods out, shaping your words, actions, and the energy you carry in the world. When doubts or fears rise, return to this feeling immediately. It is your anchor. The difference between those who manifest love and those who struggle often lies in their ability to hold this feeling consistently. Your soulmate will be drawn not just to who you are, but to the love energy you radiate. Love isn't something you chase, it's something you become. And this emotional foundation sets the stage for the next step, dropping the need to find love because it's already found you. One of the biggest shifts you can make on your journey is to stop chasing love and instead allow it to come to you. Neville Goddard taught that when you assume the feeling of being already loved, you release the desperate energy that pushes people away. The need to find love creates a vacuum of longing that the universe can't fill because it signals lack instead of abundance. When you drop this need, you're saying to yourself and to the cosmos that you are complete and whole, with or without a partner. This changes everything. Instead of looking for someone to complete you, you become someone who naturally attracts love because you are already vibrating from a place of fullness. This shift isn't about giving up on love, but about changing your relationship with it. You stop scanning for signs, stop swiping, and stop trying to force connections. Instead, you focus on embodying the feeling of love as your current state of being. You live and move as if your soulmate has already found you, which is a powerful magnet to bring them into your experience. Neville often emphasized that living in the end means you live from the satisfaction of the wish fulfilled. The moment you accept that love has already found you, your mind and heart relax. This relaxation opens doors that struggle closes. The energy of ease, joy, and confidence you radiate is irresistible. Love begins to flow naturally, and your soulmate is drawn to that vibration. The next step is about crafting a simple yet powerful imaginal scene that makes this feeling concrete and real in your mind. Neville Goddard taught that imagination works best when you create a vivid, sensory-rich scene that implies your wish fulfilled. This perfect scene should be short enough to repeat daily, but detailed enough to feel real. Picture a moment with your soulmate, a simple, joyful interaction that fills you with love and security. It could be sitting together watching the sunset, hearing their laughter, or feeling their hand gently in yours. The key is to include all 5 senses in your imagination. See the colors, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents, and even taste the moment if possible. The scene becomes a mental movie that your subconscious mind can easily accept as true. Neville advised living from the end, so your scene should convey that your soulmate already belongs to you and you belong to them. When you immerse yourself in this scene, allow your emotions to rise naturally. Feel the warmth, the excitement, and the peace. Avoid trying too hard or making it overly complicated. Simplicity combined with feeling is most effective. Repeat this scene nightly, before sleep, and whenever doubt creeps in during the day. The subconscious accepts these impressions while you sleep, making dreams a powerful manifestation tool. As you build this perfect scene, you are planting seeds deep in your subconscious that will grow into your future reality. This is the moment where imagination transforms from wishful thinking into active creation. The next step involves using your sleep state to further cement your new reality and bypass conscious resistance. Neville Goddard taught that the moment before sleep is one of the most powerful times to impress your subconscious mind. When you lie down at night, your mind begins to drift between wakefulness and sleep, a state Neville called the hypnagogic state. This transitional moment is like fertile soil where the seeds of your imagination can quickly take root. To manifest your soulmate, you want to enter sleep holding the feeling of your wish fulfilled, completely secure, cherished, and loved. Instead of falling asleep with worries or doubts, replay your perfect scene quietly in your mind, letting the emotions rise naturally. Imagine the tender smile of your partner, the warmth of their embrace, the sound of their voice whispering love to you. Feel this as vividly as possible, as if you are living it now. By doing this nightly, you impress your subconscious with the truth you want to embody. This practice rewires old thought patterns and reprograms your deepest beliefs about love. The subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and imagined experiences. It accepts what you feed it most consistently. Over time, you will notice your dreams shift, becoming richer, more joyful, and often symbolic of your desired relationship. This is your subconscious mind aligning with your conscious desire. The key is to remain faithful to this practice, even if your outer reality hasn't changed yet. Consistency plants the invisible blueprint for your soulmate to manifest in your life. And the greatest sabotage you can commit at this stage is doubt. So learning how to avoid that becomes essential. Neville Goddard referred to doubt as a sin, not because it's morally wrong, but because it directly contradicts the very assumptions you need to hold to manifest your desires. Doubt is the inner whisper that says, "This isn't real," or "It won't happen for me," and it has the power to unravel all your hard mental work. When you nurture doubt, you weaken your imaginal acts and give your subconscious conflicting instructions. Imagine planting a seed and then constantly digging it up to check if it's growing. That's what doubt does to your manifestations. The law of assumption requires that you hold your new state without contradiction, no matter what your senses report. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or pretending. It means refusing to emotionally engage with disbelief. Instead, gently return to your chosen state of feeling loved and fulfilled. Neville advised that when doubt creeps in, you should immediately pivot your attention back to your imaginal scene or inner conversation. Remember, your subconscious mind is like fertile soil, ready to grow what you consistently plant. If you water doubt, weeds of fear and disappointment will sprout instead of the flowers of love. Avoid doubt by trusting your inner world more than your outer circumstances. Keep faith that the bridge of incidents is working in your favor, even if you can't yet see it. This disciplined faith strengthens your ability to persist in the new reality. Next, we'll explore how to weave short, daily moments of feeling into your day to deepen your connection to love. To truly transform your love life, it's not enough to imagine your soulmate once in a while. You must weave the feeling of love into your everyday moments. Neville Goddard taught that consistent, repeated feelings of the wish fulfilled strengthen the impression on your subconscious. Think of these moments like gentle drops of water steadily filling a cup until it overflows. They don't have to be long or complicated. Even a few seconds of sincere feeling can make a difference. Throughout your day, pause to recall your perfect scene or the warmth of being loved and let yourself feel it fully. Maybe it's while sipping your morning coffee or walking to work, little mental breaks to reconnect with your inner reality. These brief yet powerful pauses recalibrate your mind from doubt and fear back to faith and joy. The more you practice this, the more natural and automatic it becomes. Eventually, your dominant emotional state shifts to one of love, confidence, and security. Your words and actions reflect this inner transformation, subtly signaling to your environment and potential partners that you are ready. Neville said that imagination, combined with feeling, is the creative force that shapes your life, so daily practice is essential. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you do it, the stronger and more effortless it becomes. When you integrate these moments, you build a steady current of attraction that flows toward your soulmate. This daily feeling work prepares you to distinguish between real signs and distractions, which is our next topic. One of the biggest mistakes people make on their journey to love is chasing external signs instead of focusing on their inner state. Neville Goddard taught that your outer world reflects your inner state, not the other way around. When you become obsessed with looking for signs, text messages, chance encounters, or subtle hints, you place your power outside of yourself. This puts you in a reactive position, constantly searching and doubting whether love is really coming. Instead, Neville urged students to hold steady in their assumed state of already having love, regardless of what they see or don't see. Signs can come and go, but your state is constant and creates lasting change. The bridge of incidents will unfold naturally when you persist in feeling loved and secure, without grasping for evidence. By focusing on your state, you free yourself from anxiety and disappointment that comes from unmet expectations. This inner steadiness is magnetic because it tells the universe you are ready and deserving. When you release the need to chase, you create space for unexpected opportunities to appear. The next part will guide you to trust this unfolding process and the events that align with your vision, even when they don't look like what you imagined. Neville Goddard taught that once you have firmly established your new state, the universe begins to create a bridge of incidents, a series of perfectly timed events, meetings, and opportunities that guide you to your soulmate. This bridge is invisible at first, but it steadily forms in response to your inner assumptions. The trick is to trust the process without trying to control or rush it. Often, people become impatient, wanting immediate results and clear signs, but Neville reminded us that manifestation works according to its own divine timing. Each event, even those that seem unrelated or disappointing, plays a vital role in leading you closer to your desire. Instead of resisting or questioning these occurrences, embrace them as part of your unfolding love story. This trust allows your subconscious mind to remain open and receptive, rather than closing off due to doubt or frustration. When you surrender to the flow, you become aligned with love's natural rhythm. This alignment attracts not just any relationship, but the soulmate uniquely designed for you. Remember, your job is to maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not to orchestrate the details. As you relax into this knowing, the universe handles the how and when with perfect precision. Patience and faith are your greatest allies during this stage. And if setbacks arise, you'll learn how to transform them through the power of revision. Our next focus. Even after you've committed to your new state, life may still present moments of disappointment or loneliness that test your faith. Neville Goddard taught that these moments are not failures but opportunities to use the powerful technique of revision once again. This time, not just for the past, but for present difficulties. When you face rejection or feel isolated, instead of succumbing to despair, pause and mentally rewrite the experience. Imagine the scene unfolding the way you wish it had, with kindness, understanding, or acceptance. Feel the relief and joy as if that version were real right now. This act of revision shifts the emotional energy attached to the disappointment and loosens its grip on your subconscious. It prevents negative feelings from becoming seeds that grow into larger blocks against love. By transforming current pain into imagined success, you reinforce your state of being loved and worthy. This keeps you aligned with your desire and prevents setbacks from pulling you back into old beliefs. Remember, Neville emphasized that your imagination is more powerful than any outer circumstance. What you consistently imagine and feel shapes your reality. Using revision in the present moment helps maintain your inner harmony and prepares the way for new opportunities to connect with your soulmate. Next, we'll explore how becoming the version of yourself who is already loved magnetizes the right partner effortlessly. Neville Goddard taught that you must first become the person your soulmate is looking for before you can attract them. This means embodying the qualities of love, confidence, and worthiness right now, even before your partner arrives. It's not about pretending or forcing yourself, but about truly feeling and living as if you are already deeply loved. When you shift your self-image to one of being lovable and desirable, you send a clear vibration that draws in the same energy. This transformation often begins internally with gentle self-acceptance and gratitude for who you are. You start treating yourself with the kindness and respect that you expect in a loving relationship. Your thoughts, words, and actions naturally align with this new identity. This authenticity creates a magnetic field that attracts your soulmate like a moth to a flame. Others will sense your inner glow and be drawn to your genuine energy. Neville emphasized that your outer world must reflect your inner state, so changing how you see yourself is key. This process also helps you set healthy boundaries and recognize love that truly serves you. Becoming the version of you who is loved is a powerful way to accelerate manifestation because it removes inner resistance. When you fully embody love, you no longer seek it from outside, you radiate it from within. The final part will show how to live as if love is your natural, inevitable state of being. The final and most beautiful step in Neville Goddard's teachings is to live as if love is your natural and inevitable state of being. This means fully embodying the truth that you are worthy of love and that your soulmate is already on their way. When you live from this place, love ceases to be a distant goal and becomes a present reality in your mind and heart. Your actions, thoughts, and feelings all flow effortlessly from this foundation of certainty and peace. Neville said, "Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your assumption has opened to you." This is not just about manifesting a partner, but about becoming a beacon of love that naturally attracts similar energy. You move through the world with a calm confidence, no longer driven by need or fear. Challenges may come, but they no longer shake your inner knowing. You are the living proof of love's power because you have cleared the mental blocks, rewritten your story, and stepped fully into the state of love. This radiant energy changes everything: how others see you, how you see yourself, and ultimately, who shows up in your life. By embracing love as your essence, you open the door to a soulmate connection that feels effortless, joyful, and deeply fulfilling. And remember, this isn't a destination, but a continuous journey of expanding and deepening your capacity to love and be loved. As you close this chapter, know that the love you seek has been within you all along, patiently waiting to be recognized and expressed.